Hi everyone, to my review of Jan de Bont's Twister from 1996. Yes, we are back once again registering from the channel. This time round, we're going for Twister. This is a film that I saw many times as a kid. This disaster film, and yeah, saw it last Monday again after many years of not actually seeing this one. And yeah, wanted to discuss this film today on the channel. First of all, there will be a spoiler warning for this discussion. If you haven't seen this film, I simply recommend seeing it first and then come back to this video, and we can go from there. We can talk about this from the comments, and yeah, celebrate cinema. Yes. With all that said, let's discuss my thoughts on this film, and yeah, we'll get straight into it. You know, this is a film that I really like, and you know, seeing it again last Monday, you know, it was just a really nice kind of watch on this, a rewatch, and you know, I've seen it many times, you know, as a kid, and you know, it had been, you know, so many years since I actually saw this all the way through. I was probably, you know, around 13 the last time I probably kind of watched this film, so you know, 15 years ago, and yeah, so. Such a long time, and finally seen this again on Blu-ray this time round, and you know, I think actually I'd never seen it on even DVD, so it was really cool. You know, it's just VHS and on TV back then, so it was really nice to see, you know, this you know, really good quality here, you know, Blu-ray, and you know, it's a really nice transfer, and yeah, it's just brought all the memories back, of course, you know, of this film, and just, you know, what a film this is at times. You know, I think obviously massive success at the box office. Nearly 500 million, you know, at the time, and you know, it's this massive success, and you know, it's a really popular film, you know, in that sense when it came out. And obviously, this being a Bill Paxton film as well, you know, that's just something truly to behold. And you know, I think you know, just Bill Paxton was so great, and you know, I think as well Helen Hunt, these two kind of actors here, you know, the chemistry is just so great in this film, and you know, I think obviously Joe Harding, Helen Hunt plays, and these are the two main characters that we focus on, you know, throughout the film, and you know, really. Joe, you could say, is the protagonist, but you know, Bill is also kind of really a joint protagonist in that sense, and they're both kind of, you know, pretty close in that sense, you know, in terms of who is the main character, really. But yeah, you know, we have this, of course, at the beginning, this prologue showing this F5 Twister, of course, and yeah, it's something that, you know, I think it's just so well done, this prologue, and you know, obviously it is really quite shocking, and you know, always, you know, kind of disturbing as a kid, really haunting moment, you know, at night time, and we see obviously Joe's father being taken away literally by this kind of tornado here, and you know, it kind of sets the tone of the film, and also foreshadows, you know, the actual F5 tornado twister, of course, and yeah, I think just the way in which that sets the tone of the film, and obviously it does build her character instant, really. We have Joe, and you know, this is probably one of the reasons we see why she's, you know, doing this, pursuing, you know, this research, you know, these tornadoes, these twisters, and you know, I think that is one of her, you know, things that drives her really, is to try and stop, you know, in a sense, it's happening to other people, other families, by, you know, researching this, kind of deploying this device called Dorothy, you know, in this film, and you know, to, you know, obviously be able to monitor and you know, kind of provide information, you know, instantly on this, you know, these tornadoes, and you know, for it to kind of you know, lead to, you know, predictions of the tornadoes to be more accurate, and so people can get to safety more, you know, easily, and with more warning in that sense, other than just a few seconds or none at all kind of thing. And you know, I think it's a really, you know, interesting way the film's set, you know, set up in that sense, with Joe as a kid, and you know, it jumps ahead, and yeah, I think it does add that element of tragedy to the film, and also, you know, it's kind of something that does, as I say, you know, build, you know, on this character instantly, and it provides this kind of, you know, backstory, this exposition that is really emotional for Joe, and that's one of the drives of the film, you know, in the sense we see what it can do at the beginning, you know, these tornadoes, these twisters, and you know, it kind of makes it more investing in that sense, because of how emotional that kind of prologue was. While this film does have quite a lot of emotion and you know, kind of stakes in this one, and you know, some really you know, kind of brutal moments, tragic moments, of course, you know, in this film, it is a very upbeat, kind of campy at times disaster film, and you know, that's one of the things that I do, you know, kind of love about this film. You know, it's just you know, the kind of tone of this, and I think the way the film starts out, you know, with just this jolly music, Mark Mancina, you know, kind of composing the score, and you know, the kind of jolly part, you know, after the prologue, of course, you know, cutting ahead to the wheat fields, and we have this team, obviously, of researchers and you know, storm chasers in that sense, and we have this, yeah, massive team, and just the way that's done, cutting ahead, you know, the music, the upbeat music, and all the characters, and especially Dusty, played by the legendary Philip Seymour Hoffman. You know, he is just a standout, you know, character in this film. He's just so great. You know, I love this character, and definitely, you know, one of the highlights of this film. And you know, I think just this whole team, though, you know, it's really well done in the way that you kind of it seems like they have genuinely been together, chasing storms for a long time, and they're all kind of they've got these interactions throughout the film where it really does feel quite authentic, and I think just Philip Seymour Hoffman in this film, as I say, he's just so great, and I think it's definitely the highlight of the characters, and it's Dusty, and I think the way in which as well, Bill at first just trying to, Bill Paxton trying to get the divorce papers from of course Joe, and he's with obviously his actual soon to be wife of course, and it's just really bizarre though the way that's done, this kind of triangle in the film, and his soon to be wife just kind of tagging along at points in the first half of the film, and then she just kind of realizes that she doesn't actually want to get married to Bill, and she just goes off really out the film, and that's just so strange, the way that was done. It wasn't, necessarily frustrating. It was kind of, there was some fun moments in there with, the three of them. But I think it was just, more kind of bizarre and unnecessary, really, in a sense. And maybe it just, even if it had just been, the first sort of, parts of the film, but it was quite a chunk of the film, and she was just kind of tagging along and realizing, obviously, she's not. Or Bill is not maybe the person that she thought he was, and she doesn't really fit in or any of this kind of stuff. But it was just really bizarre. I didn't really kind of get the whole point of that really, in the film. But it's definitely the first 45, 50 minutes of the film. This was the best part of the film, and I think it was really at times absolutely amazing, and I just loved the kind of blend of comedy, drama, and the action, and just the whole kind of the way in which the twisters were used, in the film portrayed. We have the F2s, F3s. Obviously, it's kind of building them up so that, in the final act, we get once again another F5, which was kind of foreshadowed in the first, kind of part of the film with the prologue. And, for the way, it was done gradually throughout the film, how, we have a lot of, increasing intensity to the actual storms, and the tornadoes and all this kind of stuff. And, I think just the way the film was shot really portrays that so well, just the kind of the destruction, the chaotic nature, of these kind of tornadoes, and I think just it's really well done in the way that we have this team. Individually, the characters are really investing, but just when they're all together, and the whole kind of team effort of this drive, this passion to kind of get these devices, Dorothy, of course, deployed into the actual tornadoes, and I think just that whole kind of sincere feeling of this, and the emotional side of it, human side of this, I thought was so well portrayed. Even though there's a lot of comedy in the film, it's something that I got so invested in again. Just the whole kind of the drive to get these devices into the actual twisters themselves, and I thought just the way as well, have the struggle at first where things are going wrong and they're kind of falling into the road and all this kind of stuff, and all the kind of balls that are in the device, of course, they just kind of get knocked around and it's not going well for them. But in the final act, this is when finally we have Dorothy being deployed, and it's just such a kind of great moment, and so satisfying to finally have this. And I think just the flow of the film, for the most part, is really well done. I think one of the things about this is the second half is just not quite as good. It's never quite as investing with some of the characters, and I think definitely it's kind of consistent with I think Joe and Bill, and the whole way in which that culminates, and how they do in the end finally get back together, and they realise they do still obviously want to be together, and that's obviously evident really from the get-go, but it's just so it's really satisfying to see that in the final kind of moments, and the final kind of scene there, the shots. I think that is just so well done, and kind of putting out, and the credits coming on there, and Dusty, of course, they're kind of really funny as well, in the final moment, and just the dog as well, the auntie in this film was so cute, in that moment, and I think when the dog is getting carried, that was just really cute moment there. Of course, out of the house, and I think though, the second half, it's not got that blend, of kind of the comedy, the character building, in terms of the side characters as well, and just the whole kind of balance of that with the action, and the thrills. There's a lot more kind of go straight into the next tornado and the next one, and kind of like this, and some character moments, of course, that are really, really enjoyable still, some interactions, but not on the level of the first half, and I think there is a couple of moments where some character arcs are not quite kind kind of brought to a close there, you know, I think, but you know, definitely the second half is still really enjoyable for me, and you know, I think that final kind of twister there, it was just so well done with the effects, unbelievable stuff here, you know, just really so impressive and immersive, and you know, just the way in which the twisters are kind of done, you know, with in terms of the action, and you know, how thrilling it is, you know, for the twisters, you know, coming across the fields and all this kind of stuff, ripping up buildings, but also the kind of emotional effect kind of portrayed in this, and just the whole kind of haunting nature of these, you know, I think these twisters. It's just a really nice balance. Another element I really enjoyed throughout the film, which again was not quite as evident, you know, in the second half of the film, kind of drops off a little bit, you know, for a while, quite a big portion of the film, but that is of course the rival team of storm chasers, led by Jonas, who is played by Cary Elwes in this film, and you know, I thought he was just really enjoyable in this, and just that kind of friction between him especially, and you know, I think Bill Paxton with Bill, you know, that was just really well done, and yeah, just really enjoyed Cary Elwes in this film, and obviously we have Jonas though, you know, kind of going out of the film for quite a bit in the second half, and then when, you know, him and his team return, and you know, they kind of once again, you know, kind of doing things their own way, and competing in that sense with, you know, the team that Bill Paxton, of course, and Helen Hunt lead. You know, I think the way in which, you know, in the end, you know, is a very, very kind of sad moment with, you know, Cary Elwes, you know, kind of goes into, you know, this twister again, and you know, he does, yeah, him and his partner there, kind of, you know, the researcher, kind of, you know, perish there in that moment, and you know, so it's a really kind of tragic moment there, even though obviously we have them being the rivals, you know, of, you know, storm chasers of this team that we follow. You know, I think it's really nice the way that humanity is done there, and the reactions from, you know, kind of Bill Paxton, Helen Hunt, and various characters in the film. It's just really, they're all kind of saddened by this, and I thought that was a really human moment, and you know, I think just it was really sad when Cary Elwes just again didn't listen to especially Bill there, and just he didn't take any of the warnings there, you know, for the danger there, and just went straight in, and yeah, unfortunately did perish there. But I think, yeah, just throughout, you know, him and his team, it was really well done, and first a lot of comedy involving them, and that's the, you know, the film really at its best, definitely, as well, you know, because of all these elements, you know, the first 50 minutes where we've got, yeah, the kind of friction between this rival team done in the comedic way as well. You've got all the action, you've got the comedy, the charm, you know, the way that characters are introduced, and I think the way the romance, you know, is kind of set up as well, and all this kind of stuff at once. The romance throughout the film does actually, in a sense, still, you know, kind of develop and become maybe even better in the final act. It's more felt, but I think just the balance of all these elements at first, that was when the film was at its best, but still throughout, you know, it's always engaging, always kind of thrilling film, and you know, I think, yeah, this romance itself between Bill and Joe, you know, I thought was definitely really well done, and you know, at times I did love this, and it was just really well kind of done in the kind of depth of this, and there's a lot of kind of underlying, you know, history between the two of them, and you know, they do realise, you know, by the end of the film they do want to be back together again, and it's, yeah, I think, as I say, it's really well done, really satisfying in that final act, and the final scene there where they do, you know, kind of you know, kind of you know, they kind of get back together there, kind of thing, and you know, they kind of, yeah, just that's the final moment there, and the final line, you know, I think we've seen enough, and you know, kind of thing. And that was really well done and so satisfying, and feel good, this one, and you know, I think that is the film, you know, even as a disaster film, it's a campy, upbeat, feel good, you know, kind of film here. You know, it's got that kind of adventurous spirit to it as well, you know, just the locations, obviously Oklahoma in this as well, and the way it's portrayed, you know, I thought was really well done, and yeah, it's just a kind of, it's an adventure type film really, and you know, it's a fun film, and you know, even though they're kind of chasing these tornadoes, and there's some really kind of tragic moments in this, you know, I love the kind of the campiness of this, the tone of it, you know, for the most part, and you know, just the comedy, and you know, I think one of the best scenes, you know, in this film is definitely when they go to Joe's auntie's house, and they all kind of have this spread that she puts on for them, and you know, because they say beforehand, can we go, stop off, and Joe is kind of at first like, no, we can't do this, and she gives in, and they go to the aunties, and you know, just the chemistry as well between Dusty and the auntie, and just the fact that, you know, it's very authentic, and you know, it feels like they have, you know, always been going back to her house. They know her very well, and it's just really, yeah, well done this, and you know, I think sincere, and you know, I think the really comedic scene though. We learn a lot about Bill in that sense as well, and just definitely one of the best sequences to this, and you know, we just have a lot of things going on here, comedy as well as just character building, and just a really peaceful moment here. You know, they get, you know, this massive, you know, kind of spread that she does for them, and it's just definitely one of the highlights of the film. Really charming moment, and Dusty here is just so funny. And I think soon after that is when the film is not quite as good. But I think overall, as I say, throughout, I just always enjoy this film. It's just the sense that that first half is just so great, really, for me, and the second half is still really, really enjoyable. And yeah, in the end, it does come together so well, though, and it's just a really fun film. This adventurous, as I say, upbeat, charming, jolly, campy fun. And so overall, my rating for this film is an 84%. So definitely a very, very high score for me. I did at times love this film, especially the first half, and I think overall a really, really enjoyable film here. The thrilling kind of adventurous film as well, and full of some really great action in this, and I think just the way in which these twisters are done and portrayed in this, and the characters, though, they really make this film, and just the charm and the kind of enjoyability of the characters, and the depth of quite a few of them as well, and just the way they are really authentic. This main storm chaser team, and I think as well the rival team with Cary Elwes, kind of leading them. I thought, especially at first, that was really well done, and I think even though the second half is not quite as good and not as kind of nicely done with the tone of the film and the balance of character kind of moments and action as well and thrills. I think despite all that, it's always a really, really enjoyable film, and I think it is a really, really nostalgic film for me as well, and it's the one that I watched many, many times, as I say, as a kid, and it was great to revisit this, and I think because I was really obsessed with, still am, kind of this kind of stuff, twisters and everything, and it was just, as a kid though, in that sense, it was just, I was thinking, wow, this is so amazing to see this, in the film, and it was just something I was so kind of, taken aback by in that sense, and I think loads of different disaster type films, but just the way, this was, really fascinating to me, as a kid, I hadn't really seen much films, specifically with twisters in them, at this point when I was really, really young, and this is a one that just was so enjoyable as well with the characters and just the whole the way the film kind of flows. That it was just it was really cool to see this as a kid, and there's many times that I just rewatched this film, and it's just really, really nostalgic, as I say, and yeah, it's just great to see this again, and it's a really, really good film, this, and I think just so well made at times. Jan de Bont, the direction was really, really impressive, and as I say, the characters, the performances, especially from Bill Paxton, Helen Hunt in this film, she was great in this, just a really complex character, and just that chemistry between her and Bill Paxton as well, Helen Hunt, it's just so effective. Yeah, just a really great experience seeing this again, and it's just great to kind of see this one after all these years as well. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this film, and it'd be great to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Share your thoughts on this, your experience with this, and yeah, let's discuss this all down below in the comments and celebrate cinema. So yes, as always, take care and thanks for watching.